Sweet.
Oh,
Cheers,
cheers.
man. Cheers for coming in, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
Welcome
having
to
me.
the podcast. We've
Cheers.
made it happen after a while.
Yeah.
And I think, we first met at the Prohibition comp.
Yeah, I played earlier that night, and you were. I'm not sure if you were straight after
I
me.
think I
or-
was straight after you.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was like 11:30 you were playing that night because I played at 9:30 I think it was.
I feel like I played it. Oh, maybe I was the one after, like the
Oh
person
no, that was
after.
the quarterfinal. We were in the same quarterfinal group as well. So
we're in the
played,
heats, weren't
yeah.
we?
You were straight after me
In
in
the
the heat,
heat, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
came up to me and you were like, "Wow, that was sick." But
Yeah,
now
there's-
I have to alter my playlist because you played half of my stuff.
Yeah, there was a few tunes in there for sure that I was like,
Yeah.
I was going to play that.
Yeah, and you're wearing your, I think it was the Dirty Bird bomber jacket that you have
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I fucking love that jacket.
Love that jacket
It's
too.
Such
yeah.
a good jacket.
It's not real warm though. That's the only thing.
No, it's just like a windbreaker.
Yeah, it's like it's not. Yeah, so it's good, that jacket. I love it.
Yeah.
The old Dirty Bird.
I actually ordered one.
Yeah.
At the start of quarantine, and
Okay.
so I ordered the jacket and two
Which one though? Like,
it was a red one. It was a red coach's jacket,
yeah.
and
Because they've got some cool merch.
yeah.
Dirty Bird. I love
well,
their merch.
the sad thing about it is so I ordered it and it took like a month and a half to get to me, and then so they said it was delivered, but I never got anything, and so I had to go to the police about it, and then I had to go to Australia Post. Australia Post told me, "Oh, you can't do anything about it. It's not our fault. The concierge at your apartment building accepted it." So I went to them, and it turns out they had no recollection of receiving any mail. So it's either they've dropped it in my mailroom and it was stolen, which I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Mm.
And so I ended up emailing Dirty Bird, and after a few emails, they eventually just reimbursed me because they had also taken down that jacket, so I couldn't buy it again.
Oh,
So
you couldn't even get it.
No, I was.
You missed your one shot.
I was livid. I was like,
Yeah.
I really wanted that, and I ordered like some like high top Dirty Bird socks and stuff like that. So none of it came. It's like $178 Australian, and it coming up to like $107 US.
Yeah,
and so I had to get that all reimbursed, which sucked because I really wanted that jacket.
Yeah, yeah.
was
Now you can't get it.
dope. Yeah, because I had a similar one in Whistler. It was an Amity Affliction jacket actually, and I wore it everywhere. And I got super drunk one night, and I played a set, and then I put my jacket down, and then I left without it. Went back the next day. It turns out someone nicked it from underneath the DJ booth.
Yeah.
So I wasn't. It was pretty shitty time.
Rough, man.
Mm.
So, you talk about Whistler then,
Yeah.
and I know like we were hanging out last weekend. You're telling us heaps of stories, but when did you go over to Whistler or Canada in general,
Yeah.
and like how long were you there for?
So originally, I never actually had like any thought or ever see myself moving to Canada and like going to that country.
Yeah.
And back in 2015, I moved back to New Zealand on my own. My parents kind of said, you got to go out on your own now and learn how to live your own life. Can't baby you anymore.
Yeah.
So I moved in with my dad for about 4 months, and then I after that moved back to my hometown, and so jumped around a few different jobs there, and then I met my ex-partner, and she eventually said, "Oh, I'm moving to Canada. Do you want to come with me?" So I was like, "Yeah." So we moved over there, and then we eventually broke up, and she moved home, and I stayed. And that ended up being 3 years of like 3 years of my life that I would live every day again.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It's pretty wild over there. Good
Oh,
times.
it was the parties, the snowboarding, and then the summertime sitting at the lake till 10 o'clock at night. The sun's still not gone down. It's nice and warm. Everyone's around drinking beers, having a barbecue, passing joints around. Like it's a great place to live, but it's also not a realistic lifestyle either. Like the partying, the amount of stuff that you're putting into your body, and then the lack of sleep. Like sometimes you'd go like 1 or 2 or 3 days without sleeping. It's like, and that's when I met my partner Jess, as you met last week. Just the end of my time there, I'd actually 6 months over my visa.
True. So you were illegal.
I was very illegal.
You were very
I was like a
illegal.
ghost because I didn't have an address. I didn't have a phone number. I got paid cash in hand from the club that I was working at. They didn't give a shit, and then I was just surviving on my DJ gigs as well. So, and they were all cash in hand as well. So it made it really easy to survive.
Yeah, that's cool.
But not enough money to get me home.
Not enough. Jeez. And so when we talk about like DJing and you talk about playing at clubs over there and stuff, where did you like first start then? Like, did you already DJ before you went over there?
So not exactly. So the first time I sat in front of a pair of CDJs in a mixer would have been the year I graduated high school. It was 2012,
Yep.
and my one of the he was a teacher on prac, so he was at uni.
Yep.
He was also my patrol captain at the surf lifesaving club that I do every weekend as well.
Mhm.
And so he used to DJ in the valley sometimes, but he had all his own setups like subs and everything. So we had a school dance. And I was like, I'd really like to learn how to play. He's like, okay, cool. You can just DJ the dance, and then I'll just give you $50 out of the 200 that they're giving me.
Yeah, you can do all the work.
I was like,
I'll
I'm getting
just be
paid
there.
for this too. And he's like, yeah, fucking may as well go about it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I did that for
Sweet deal for him too.
Yeah,
though.
he just
rocks
kinda
up,
sat
does
and
nothing,
watched.
and then
Yeah.
leaves. Yeah.
And so I did that, and that's from that point on, I knew I was like, I want to do this. This is sick. Like, I had so much fun. And no idea about beat matching or anything like that. I was kind of just pulling things in and out. I was like 16 at the time, and the second time I finally gotten like a club gig would have been end of 2016 at my hometown in New Zealand. And it was just on a pair of the Serato decks and a laptop. I was filling in for one of the DJs who played there because he was away for the weekend. Again, didn't really know what I was doing. So I finally learnt when I moved to Whistler. So I got a job at the club Mojo's, and I finally met the owner, and he goes, hey, what would you like to get out of working here? And I was like, I'd like to learn how to bartend, and I'd also like to learn how to DJ.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you're in luck. I'm here from like 9 a.m. in the morning till like whenever we open at night, 5 days a week. You can come in throughout the day, use all the decks, the speakers, turn it up as loud as you want, make as much noise as you want.
Yeah.
So for about 6 months, I was in there from 9 in the morning all day until the club opened at 9 that night.
Yeah.
Just playing, making noise, downloading music, practicing.
And then that sounds on a big system. And then
So I had
sick.
booth monitors plus the whole stage system. Everything was great.
Yeah, with an empty club too, so like it's even like louder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then I was getting to the point. I was like, my boss was like, "You sound a lot better." I was like, yeah, when can I start playing in front of people? He's like, oh, you're not that good yet. I was like,
peg you down. It's like, no, not yet.
So
mate.
the first gig I got playing in front of people would have been 6 months later. And so Mojo's in the summertime throw a beach party. So like the club is like 2 stories underground.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had an underground car park that come into the back of the club as well. So what we used to do is we used to fill the trucks up with sand, and we would hand shovel sand into the club for about 6 hours.
That sounds so
6 hours.
fucked.
Oh, it was.
Like,
and
shoveling sand is the worst.
Yeah, like we'd have wheelbarrows, but like we're getting pissed while we're doing this. Like the boss is just like, grab anything out of the fridge. Like we're making cocktails and Jaeger bombs, pineapple bombs, beers, shots of whiskey. Like we're doing all this while we're scooping sand, and then we found the drunker we got, the faster the sand went in.
Well, you think it did anyway.
Oh,
You're like, man, we've done so much work, and it's like hardly anything. You just feel drunk.
And this was just for one party.
Yeah.
Like take that into account. And like,
I'm more thinking about the fact of shoveling the sand out is going to be the shittest. That's going to be shit. Getting it in's not too bad, but getting it out.
Yeah, but we were also shit-faced drunk getting it out too.
Yeah, I know, but still, like, that seems like a big mission.
Yeah, so we'd finally finished shoveling the sand, and it was about 6 o'clock at night. We opened an hour early at 8 because we'd do this thing called the beach party buffet, but I'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're like, oh, we're going for dinner. Do you want to stay here and practice, or you can come with us? And I was like, I'll stay here and practice. And they were gone to about 7:30. They all came back, even drunker than what they did when they left. And I'm sitting there practicing, and they're like, "Oi, Gomez," and I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "You're opening tonight," and I was like, "Excuse me, what?" They're like, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. We can give it to someone else. I was like, no, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah.
They're like, all right, well, get ready, because I also had the night off. I only had to help do the sand. I didn't have to, because at the time I was a promoter and a barback. So I was the third barback. So they didn't really need someone walking around picking up cups, because we weren't using cups. We were just using plastic reusable cups.
Yeah.
And so I had the night off. So I ended up getting pretty on several different levels. But it was totally worth it. And like, because the beach party buffet as well. So between 8 and 9, you couldn't advertise it was an open bar, right? So we used to call it the beach party buffet.
Yeah, yeah.
And so people would can't like it would be you'd have to get like you'd give out tickets to like your friends and say, hey, like this is what's happening at this time, come in earlier. So you'd get all your friends down so they could take advantage of it and stuff like that. And then you'd play.
So it's just like open bar, whatever you want to drink.
Oh yeah, so we'd get heaps of samples sent from reps and stuff like that, and then we'd have like our like well,
not open bar, but they'd have heaps of shit that you say, you can have any of this stuff. Like anything from the bottom shelf and the second shelf.
Yeah.
When you go.
Yeah, well, we had eskies in the back of the bar as well. Okay, so that would be filled with all the free shit, and it would be full of ice and water, and like I was lugging those to and from the back room to refill them for hours.
Yeah.
And but it was an incredible atmosphere as well, because like we'd not only put all the sand into the bar, but like those like hula skirts you get, like the different colors and stuff. So we'd
like the
cut
Hawaiian
them
or whatever,
so we'd staple them to the bar and made the whole bar look like a tiki bar. And like cut like a tiki umbrella in half and had it like hang off the top of the bar and stuff like that. And it was really cool. The whole place was decked out. And then like when everyone would come in, like it was hot enough down there as is, but we used to turn the heating up a little bit so it'd feel like the beach. So it's just like this giant sweat
Don't make
box.
it a comfortable temperature.
No.
make it feel like it's really hot in the beach. Yeah. Really get that experience.
Yeah, you got to think as well, everyone's cooked.
Yeah.
Everyone's juiced. So like everyone's sweating more and like and like you're walking around and like people are like losing their shoes.
So the sand's all over the floor in the venue.
Everywhere on the floor apart from the bar.
Okay.
Probably
how
about
deep is it?
2 feet.
Jeez.
Yeah, about 2 feet deep.
Man,
around the whole bar.
That's so how did you go about getting it out then? Like, because obviously you were talking about like you're going down to get the sand.
Yeah.
Then you've got to go. I suppose you've got elevated lifts.
Oh no. So like the whole club was downstairs. So it was all 2 feet under. So we used to have like there was an underground car park where you could drive the car around and come in the back door. Yeah, and we used to just shovel it off there.
But then you've still got to like when you're getting it out. How do you get out all the little bits of sand that's everywhere? Like at the end, it's easy when you're shoveling, but eventually it gets to the point where it's like you can't shovel it, and you've got to like. Do you have people with like brooms, sweeping it into a pile and shit like that?
Brooms, wheelbarrows, and shovels. That's all we had. And like there'd be parts
just finding sand for the next 2 weeks
like
everywhere.
Even in the DJ booth. Like I remember from my first beach party, we were still finding like when the beach party came around the next year, we're still finding sand in the DJ booth.
That's what I was gonna say, because like you go to the beach and you like find sand in your room or something, like like 2 weeks later, and you're like, how is there still where did that come from?
It's like glitter. Like glitter's like how am I still
glitter sticks to shit as well. That's the problem.
Gets stuck in your hair. But yeah, so that was my first gig. It wasn't paid. Like for the first year there, every time I did a gig, I never asked for money because I just had so much enjoyment out of playing music and people actually enjoying what I was playing. Yeah. So like every time I'd just be like, yeah, can I just play for the sake of playing? Like, yeah. And I was like, because of my ADHD as well, I'm always like, I'm trying like an eager child. So like so like my friends would like one of the guys, he's one of my best mates, Dan Darley. He blew up in Whistler, and he actually runs Woody's Surf Shack down in Byron now. He's the general manager down there. Yeah. And he taught me how to beat match and like balance my EQs and everything like that. And so we got on like a house on fire, and he was like a big brother father figure as well. Like he had that big, let's say, jolliness about him. He was really an awesome guy, and he would play at Max Fish. So Max Fish was the other club so my club would play on Sundays, and then Max Fish was on Mondays, and I'd do the occasional set there, do the opening and stuff like that, and I'd always be behind him. It's like, hey, do you want to go back to back for a little while? Like, I got my USB right here. Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah. And he'd be like, not now.
He's like, nah, man, I'm
good. We'd always eventually, but we'd always eventually end up at a house party who's got decks, and we'd end up going back to back for another 4 hours, just blind drunk, like not knowing what we're doing kind of thing, and everyone just enjoying it because the people who were at the club were also at that house party, so they'd just listen to us play the same set we played that tonight. Yeah.
So is the culture you're talking about, like, you said your club you played Sunday and then the other one like Monday, is that a bit of a thing over there, like those different times, like Sundays,
Weekends
Mondays.
don't exist.
That's what I was sort of getting at. Yeah,
weekends
so
don't
it's like
exist.
because Monday, it's like well, nowhere's open here on Monday.
Yeah,
Like there's no clubs open on Monday.
No.
Here.
It's like
So-
not even the strip clubs are really open on a Monday here. It's
Well,
like-
I'm not sure. They probably do. I bet they do.
I think that actually because
Hey, Garood, do they open on a Monday? I know he loves the strip. Anyway, but yeah, so over there, it's like the clubs are running all nights, and they're all like they're kind of busy.
Yeah, so each
still.
club had its own locals night. So
Okay, so they all sort of they would spread it out so that they wouldn't all have it on the same night.
So because Whistler was, especially in the wintertime, it's massively populated by Australians, people from the UK, New Zealanders,
expats,
and then,
basically people from other places. Yeah,
yeah, and so Whistler Blackcomb as a resort heavily rely on their like I wouldn't call it an exchange program, but like people from other countries coming in working as lifties, working at food and restaurant attendants.
Yeah.
The
old working holiday kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so they also have on mountain staff housing, which is always a lot of fun. So they're like college dorms. You have like this tiny little lounge room, which would be about the size of this room.
Yeah.
And
this
then,
room's massive, bro. No.
yeah. Well, maybe like down here, and then like the two
no,
doors for the bedrooms would be on each side, and the bathrooms like this little cupboard in the corner. But like you could fit easily 30 people in there for kick-ons, and everyone would be fine with it.
Yeah.
But
especially because it's like it's cold outside, so everyone's like it's nice and warm in
Oh,
here.
yeah,
It's
well,
like,
it gets,
it's warm in here.
Peak winter's like minus 27 degrees.
Yeah,
and like
too
it's
cold for me.
Oh, but it's not bone chilling though. Like if you you wear some thermals,
Sounds
some
bone
jeans,
chilling. Yeah, I know.
and
If you've
just,
got
like-
all the right gear,
yeah,
it's not too bad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Just I don't have any of the right gear. That's the problem. I'd have to get a whole new
I used to do
wardrobe.
street promoting because I was head promoter for a little while in the middle of winter.
That sounds-
minus 27 at night.
That sounds terrible when it's good weather.
But like minus 27 at night, and I would stand out there from 9 o'clock at night till about 1 in the morning, and I'd have to go into the bar to warm up, go to the bathroom, and then like to stay warm outside, be doing like shots of Jack just to stay
straight
warm
liquor,
outside.
just,
Double
Just have a little,
shot Jack.
just have a little hip flask out there. Just,
Or we used to buy so you buy those little plastic bottles of
Yeah,
Fireball.
yeah.
We used to keep them in our pockets. We used to scull Fireball out in the street just as long as the cops didn't see us. But like it would keep us buzzed. So the more buzzed I was, the more people I'd talk to.
yeah, you'd got that bit of Dutch courage.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
Hey
And
guys,
then
how you
keep
going,
it
mate?
warm. Well, as well as promoting, so for every person I brought in it was $1 a head.
Yeah.
So like I could bring in like 80 to 100 people a night, and then I get a big cash payout at the end of the month. So all that money was built up over the month, and I get paid out to me at the end in cash, which was really good. But back to what we were talking
Really
about.
good or really dangerous.
Yeah.
So you all of a sudden get a big wad of cash. Like, I can buy something that I don't need now.
Well, exactly.
like instead of paying for shit. If you're just
exactly.
getting little bits every.
Well, I lived on
week.
people's couches for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for a lot of people. Like if anyone watches this, I'm thankful and I feel sorry for you putting up with me living on your couches for like 3-4 months at a time. But so
if anyone's got a couch out there,
I don't know. I've got a pretty good one at home now. Yeah. But back to what you were saying about every club had its own night. So Sunday night was Mojo. So that was the club I worked at, and we had a UV glow party every Sunday. And it wasn't just like a couple of glow sticks hanging from the ceiling and stuff like that. It was like every part of the bar had like UV glow tape, like different colors, like pink, orange, yellow, blue, all around the bar. Like the girls would do artwork with the tape and stuff like that. And then we have like all the lights would be turned off, and there would just be black lights on, and then like strobes, and and then we'd have glow sticks hanging from the ceilings as well. And like we'd also have those big Jägermeister foam sticks, and they flash like red, blue, and green. Have you seen
I
those
don't think
before?
I've seen them. No.
No, they're really cool. Because we used to get them. We were sponsored by Jaeger, I'm pretty sure. And they used to give us like a box of them every 6 months because they'd give us like a box
thing,
of like 500 of these things, and like we just have them laying around the bar, and people would just come in and like as like children, they'd smack each other with them and shit or people get creative, like they'd pull the LEDs from the inside of them and wrap them around their glasses and stuff like that. Or like people would have stretchers and sticking through their ears and stuff. It was really really gross, but like it was really creative at the same time. And then so that was Sunday night. So that's basically the start of the locals night, Sunday. And then Monday night is Max Fish Monday, which Max Fish isn't actually open anymore, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Because just after I left, the manager, Cody, he was awesome guy. Not someone you'd ever fuck with either, though.
Yeah. I know those kind of people.
But
so they're great if you're there, if they're your mate.
He's like 6'8",
yeah.
and he's built like a brick shit house. And I did one night cop an open hand slap from him, and I thought my jaw was broken the next morning.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty hefty. But I apologized to him for being a dick later in that week. He's like, just don't be a dick. And he smacked me in the dick, and he's like, off you go.
Yeah.
So their night was called Fuck Mondays, but it was FVCK.
Yeah.
And like they had merch, t-shirts and stuff like that. Like I even have it still in my wardrobe at home. It's really great. And then you
have to wear that when you play at the DJ comp on a Sunday. Because then that's so appropriate. It's like, fuck Mondays.
I will wear it, actually.
Because you know what I mean? Like, have a big Sunday, and then it's like, fuck Monday. Like, who cares about Monday? Fuck Monday. I'm just going to get loose tonight. Monday's going to suck.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah.
And so the Tuesday night, so there's a club called Tommy Africa's, which got newly renovated just before I left. And so Tuesdays was Tommy Tuesdays. And so also in the wintertime, there was this ski après called Swedish after ski après. And so it was this bar called Cinnamon Bear. And the guy who was the general manager of the place, his wife was Swedish.
Okay, yeah.
And so he spent a lot of time in Sweden. He's also really big in the Tomorrowland scene. He knows the guy. He's really good friends with the guy who runs and owns Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
So like he tell us stories of how he gets a VIP ticket, all access pass to Tomorrowland every year.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And like
that's pretty dope.
Oh yeah, he was awesome dude. So he's like, in Sweden they have like on top of the mountains, they have like DJs play up there. Everyone's drinking beer, dancing on tabletops, wearing retro ski gear and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so he decided to throw that at Cinnamon Bear on Tuesday afternoons, and it was huge with the mountain stuff, like all the foreigners, the Australians, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And people, it's like it'd go from 4 PM till 8. So my last winter there, I actually had the pleasure of playing a couple Tuesdays for that. And it was like a lot of sing-along cheese music, and then you drop in with like your festival, Dimitri Vegas-like mic, all like the big room festival kind of stuff that Swedes love.
Because what years are we talking about when you're over there? I'm just thinking, because like for the time period of when it was, because the comp we met each other would have been 28.
Last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, I've only been back in the country for about a year and a bit now.
Was it? So that was the second one. You weren't in it wasn't the first one.
No, I wasn't in the first one. No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the first one. Okay, so this is pretty recent still. We're talking about. Yeah, it's only the last couple, like 4 years ago was when you would have
went there.
2016.
No, I was still in New Zealand then. So No, actually, it was the end of 2016.
Yeah.
2016-17 season was my first season.
Yeah.
And then, so I didn't start playing Swedish until the season of 2018-19.
Yeah.
Kind of, so like the first half of the winter, because I ended up flying back February last year. It was February 21st I left Canada. So that would happen. So Tommy's had a deal with the guys from Swedish that they would promote Tommy Tuesdays and give out free tickets at Swedish, so they get the club busy early over at Tommy's.
So it's packed, yeah.
Yeah, so and like every night was packed. And Tommy's would be sick because they'd also do snowboard giveaways. They also did a bartender challenge, which was also another cool thing. So they get local bartenders around town.
Yeah.
They'd get a team, make a signature cocktail, and then they'd run a section of the bar in Tommy's one night, and whoever gets the most sales gets to keep all the tips. And
that's cool.
And they get put on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then so Wednesday night.
That's cool. That's almost like a DJ comp for bartenders for a gig.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I think a lot of
someone do that. Brisbane bartenders group.
Yeah.
Someone sort that out.
It's a really cool idea.
I don't know why there aren't more like bartender
challenges
or comps or like, even I know that, flaring's not a huge thing, but even like they could have a whole comp that had different categories of like.
Well, they judge you on like your
so many
friendliness,
ideas
like
now,
your friendliness and like how you deal with patrons and stuff like that, and like the way you carry yourself behind the bar and like how you talk to people, like the friendliness thing again, and like I said, they make a signature cocktail and they got to see how many of those they can make throughout the night. So they sit down and they make that and they judge them on that as well. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's really cool.
Fun.
Yeah, I like that. You could almost, I'm getting so many ideas about like you could have a cool bartender challenge thing where, just chuck it on the ground, man, and grab another one. where you could have like, you could have bartenders and they have to compete in all the categories.
Yeah.
And then it's like someone wins at the end. So you could have like a flaring one, and then it's like someone's got to, and then another category could be you've got to make this classic drink, and so you have to nail the classic drink, and then maybe a signature cocktail. You could have all these different categories.
Exactly.
So someone might have like this awesome signature cocktail, but then be shit at flaring.
Yeah.
And someone might be real good at flaring, but not have that good a cocktail. So
exactly.
it would be interesting to see like it sort of,
It's a really cool idea, and I reckon like you could have like some of the bigger bars and clubs around Brisbane like have like they could hold a challenge and take their best bartenders from each bar.
Yeah.
And then they all compete. Like you could have Sub Rosa, Sukasa, Prohibition, the Met, Family, like all those kinds of places. And like they all just compete to see who's got the best bartenders in the valley. Or like in Brisbane kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. I always love getting like people's like bartenders and stuff. Like if I'm just like at a bar, I think when we were at the Born Creative the other week, I just said to the guy, I was like, oh, what's your, like, make us a cocktail, whatever your, like, signature one. And it was like this Doja Cat one that he was doing or whatever that he called it. And, it was good. Like, I love that, like, always asking for, like, what's your signature, like, make me something.
Yeah.
And it's
surprise
like,
me.
Yeah,
wow
but
me.
whatever, like, if you've got, like, something you've worked on, like a signature thing, like, make that. I'm keen to try it, So I think that would be really cool to do something like that because... There's not a lot of that around. Well, that I know of. Maybe I'm just not in the right circles. It's probably like we've just described something that's been around for 20 years in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And it's like every it's like in 2 weeks' time or something.
No one's even seen it.
Well, we've just never seen it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But yeah, that's a cool idea. But yeah, so over there, like you said, it's each sort of club had a weekday that was
so it'd be like Sunday to Thursday, and then Friday, Saturdays the locals would kind of stay in, and the people from Vancouver, because Vancouver's only a 2-hour drive away, so you'd get all the people from the city that'd come up and party on the weekends, and that's where you get the big spenders. You get like people who like come up and throw their money around, and they get like big penthouses in the village and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they like you do nice things to them, they kind of just tuck some money in your pocket.
Just give you, because it's still the tip, like it's still a very tip-based
everything is
system over there. It's got that American tip sort of, because that's a very sort of, I think of it as an American concept, and so Canada has that kind of a concept as well.
Yeah.
What about things like going out, like drinking and all that, like
cheap?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's cheap.
Holy crap, it's cheap.
How much is a beer, like, if you go to a bar?
Well, like at Mojo's, we used to have like it's a Canadian beer. It's called Labatt Blue. They sponsor the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Blue Jays and stuff like that. And so we'd sell a blue for $4.50.
Yeah,
that was the cheapest beer. And then you get your Coronas for like $5.56, and then like your Stellas and all that kind of stuff for like your
and that's sort of like a big venue. That's like at the Met kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's at a venue that's like one of the bigger ones.
It's the top one of the top
nightclubs. Because like, you can get $5 beers at like a little shitty pub.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But not at a big club like the Met or any of those kind of clubs. You don't really get $5 beers.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like I even find it hard, like when someone tells me it's like $9 for a basic, it really hurts my feelings.
Yeah, I remember up in Townsville, man, when like the uni night was Tuesday night at Consortium, and so they used to do like it was called dollar drinks, but it wasn't $1 for it. It was $2. It was $1 for a half nip drink, so $2 for a drink. But $2 for a drink is ridiculous still. So you'd go up and you give them $20 and go, "Can I have 10 drinks?"
Yeah,
and you just get like they just put them on a tray and you like walk back to your table.
Yeah,
and then one place would do 50-cent full drinks, but they'd only do it for an hour that night, but they wouldn't tell you when. It was just like they just all of a sudden in the night, whatever
it'd be
time.
Cheap as.
Well, in the night, whatever, someone just get on the mic and go, "All right, it's happy hour," and then so like for that hour on, it was 50-cent drinks. But like if you weren't there, so I had to go there because like we didn't have phones like it was is now, so it was
everyone's writing each other letters 2 days in advance.
But it's like you couldn't, like you could send like a text message, but it wasn't like it is now where it's like like people with
instant
everyone's not on their phone. When you go out, you're not on your phone doing anything. You can't really take video or anything, so it's like
Nokia E63.
I think man, what would I used to have had back then? Like, this is when like the first iPhones would have been starting.
Yeah.
Like, and they were even
I remember when
pretty
the
shit.
iPod came out, and the iPod, all those weird, like,
All the different
TV
versions.
adverts and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah, the ads and stuff.
Yeah, like someone
How
just
funny is
dancing
it?
and shit.
How funny is it that like we had a specific particular device just for that?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
And now we
to
just have
store
one
music,
that
and
has
that's just
everything.
on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just does everything. Yeah.
It's like I remember my mum still has an iPod Classic.
Oh really?
Like one of those
Fits
first.
so much music
it's a
on it.
500 gig.
Yeah,
Like
they're
iPod
huge.
Classic. Yeah, it's unreal.
Fits so much music on it, but
and then to scroll, you gotta go around the button kind of
the
thing.
wheel thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The old wheel.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then they had all the different ones, the touch and then all the
touch,
different brands
the Nano,
and
yeah,
the old
Nano,
MP3
the shuffle.
players.
Yeah,
the shuffle.
Yeah,
little tiny ones.
It had no screen. It was just like you got to kind of just go with what music was playing.
Got to shuffle it. So yeah, you say you sort of learnt DJing over there a lot, like in Canada. So what have you noticed differences when you've come back, maybe with music or anything like that? Because you started in a different place, and then you've come back, to Australia and Brisbane, and it's obviously going to be different.
It's definitely two sides of the spectrum. I can say that. Like I came back here, like playing so many big gigs as well, like opening for some big people, and also playing alongside some big people now who are still growing, who are some of my, like I consider some of my good friends who are doing amazing things still, who have also had to put their careers on hold because of COVID, which sucks. And I still support them to this day, repost their stuff, and so like coming back here, like everything over there was like house related. Like it was always a big house vibe, but it might have been just the crew, like the crowd I hung around as well. Like I hung around with a lot of the older guys as well. Like who were.
Was there much bass scenes and stuff over there?
Drum and bass is big.
Yeah,
like, drum and bass is huge.
I feel like drum and bass is big everywhere.
Yeah,
like it's just that constant.
Well, Tommy's had a night once a month where it was run by this group called the Junglists.
Okay,
so they call it Whistler Junglists. And that was
of course they're playing jungle, like drum and bass and shit.
Drum and bass, that's all
like,
it was.
You
and
hear the name and you go, I know what they're playing.
Yeah, exactly. But it was I ever went to one of them, and it was the show that Sticky Buds headlined.
Yeah, dope.
So they'd try to get a bigger act coming once a month or once every 2 months kind of thing. But Sticky Buds was unreal.
Yeah, he's sick.
To say the least. He excuse me.
I believe it's Tyler, isn't it?
What?
Tyler, I think that's his real name. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's played over here for us for like blah blah blah. We used to
I
break
remember you
beat
saying
stuff.
that the
So
other day,
I've hung out with him.
Yeah, he's definitely a character too. Stage presence is unreal. Just the jumping around, the flopping, the long hair,
and everything.
The long hair's crazy.
And then just dope tunes too.
Yeah,
like,
and his music is unreal.
That sort of glitch hoppy or like that kind
it's
of.
Like, have you heard of the Funk Hunters? The Funk Hunters, yeah. So
I'm not sure.
So they're based. I think they're based in Vancouver.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so Funk Hunters, they run their label is Westwood Records.
Okay, I've definitely heard of Westwood Records.
Yeah. So I used to see them play a fair bit as well when they'd come through Whistler and do surprise shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And like when I say surprise show, that they have like Summerfest in the middle of Whistler Square. And they'd have this big stage, and everyone would find. I remember the afternoon. Everyone found out that afternoon we were already at a keg party at my buddy's place.
So the whole party just goes.
Oh yeah. So but like we had to go play a bush duff later that night as well, which was the bush duff scene over there was unreal. But so we're like already wasted, and they're like, "Oh, Funk Hunters is playing in the village at the moment." Like, "Oh, let's go." So we got into a taxi and went over to the village, and we were all wasted, starting to cook. And the Funk Hunters come on, and they've got like someone playing a saxophone as well, and they've got someone
live
instrumentals as well. And their kind of stuff was like glitchy, like dub, I would say. Like it's like
ghetto funk.
It's like real funk soul, but it's like that glitchy wubs to it as well. I don't exactly.
But it's around that like 110 BPM.
Yeah, like it's slow.
Yeah.
And so later that night we went to the Bush Stuff. I think it was my second one I played. It was run by this this Canadian Filipino guy called Joey. He's actually a really good friend of mine as well, who ended up starting his own event like event planning business with
running
another
events
one
and
of
stuff,
our mates, Toby, who's from the UK. I'm not sure if I was meant to play a festival in the Philippines earlier this year.
Oh, really? Yeah. Fuck, that would have
A
been sick.
3-day full moon festival, and he was
sweet.
like, our accommodation was paid for, we get landed fee, everything like that, and then 3 weeks out to flying there, COVID goes, nah, you're not going anywhere.
I was meant to go up to Townsville for gigs, and that fell through at Easter time. Because of COVID too. So
yeah, it was meant to be my holiday as well. So
Yeah,
I was meant to be on my 2-week holiday.
Yeah. And it all just went to shit.
It all went to shit. And I was like playing with people, like all my friends from Whistler. So like Dan Darley again as well. My Happy Place. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's big in Byron.
No, I don't think so.
He's Adrian. He's a really good friend as well. He's an awesome dude. Real hippie vibe to him as well. Surfs, smokes weed. The DJs.
That's why he's living down in. Didn't you say Byron?
Yeah.
That's probably really the vibe down there.
Well, it's like a summer version of Whistler. That's all the town is.
Okay,
basically.
yeah, cool, yeah.
It's just like that's all it is.
Yeah.
So the bush stuff was like 35-minute drive out of town.
Yeah.
Back down towards Vancouver, and then you go up this mining road, and then in a little bit, and there's like this little lake, and this guy lives out there in this shack, and it's like got this wall. So you got the DJ booth, and there's this wall along it, and it's got all these records and books, and then there's like a little ladder out the back of the shack that goes up to his bed, and he's got his cat up there and stuff like that. It's really well looked after, but we'd throw the bush stuffs out there as well.
Yeah,
and this would have been, I think it was Entropia. Entropia is what he called it, and it was like a space themed bush stuff kind of thing,
cool,
like intergalactic space gate to another world.
Yeah. Sounds trippy.
And it's just a forest full of people dressed up in weird costumes and fur coats, and people just high on acid. And
just tripping out.
Just
psychedelic city.
Yeah, psychedelic city. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just played all these people. I've got some videos I can show you later. It's quite funny
cool.
as well.
Yeah.
There's this chick sitting in the front row, and she's like holding a teddy bear. She's like,
just off her head.
oh, it's really funny though, because she's like bobbing to the music. She's like, really wasted.
Have you been to many doofs over here? Like,
no, I haven't been to one yet.
Yeah.
No, I
That'd
really
be cool
want
to go to, just to see, again, like I was asking about the differences and stuff. Like, I think it's interesting seeing different things in different places, even different cities.
Yeah.
But different countries, it's totally different.
Exactly.
Like, and it's interesting to see how the different cultures or scenes work in different places. And I'd be interested to see what the difference is between Canadian bush stuff and an Australian bush stuff.
Canadian bush stuff's
just to experience
colder.
it. Yeah, it would be.
Oh, in the summertime though, it's not really that cold. Like it gets as hot as here. Like you can have a nice summer day over in Canada in the summertime, Whistler, to like 35 degrees.
Yeah.
And like you're up in the mountains too, so it's scorching hot.
Yeah.
And it tends to dry out. Bushfire season in Canada is like, I've almost seen it as bad as bushfire season here. Like it fills up the whole state, the whole province. Sorry, they don't use states over there, provinces.
Yeah.
And I remember one year I was walking down from staff housing, and you could see the big mountain like as you're walking into the village, and like everything was orange. You couldn't see the mountain.
Yeah.
It was like an eclipse had come over the earth. It was crazy. But yeah, the bush. I'd love to play a bush stuff here.
Yeah.
It was. I feel like I can be more of myself, like a wild kind of character, because that's what I am. I actually don't know where I'm going with that.
You just
I get weird. Let's just say I like getting weird.
Yeah, you like to get a bit loose and just do stupid shit.
Yeah. Jess was one for getting weird. My partner Jess, she likes getting weird too, but it's not a sustainable lifestyle. And she was right.
She was right. She's the one who told you.
She's 100% right.
She's
and
like,
I know she's gonna watch this.
Yeah,
I know she's gonna watch this, and she's gonna be like, "I told you."
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. And I know she looks at me sometimes. She goes, "You could probably go back and do it again, couldn't you?" And I tell her every time, like, "Yeah, I could," but I think to myself,
but only for a
after
little
I'm
bit.
like, "Yeah,
I could do it for a year, maybe."
Oh, I don't even know. I could probably do it for about 6 months before my body kicked out.
Yeah. That's it.
But I know people who still did doing the same thing, and they were doing it like 10 years before I even got there.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like,
And they'll be doing it for 10 years more.
yeah.
And then they'll die.
Probably.
Um,
and
but
then
yeah.
they'll die.
Yeah. So, like, what about music growing up then? Like, because you talked about when you went over, to Canada when you
Yeah.
sort of started learning DJing and stuff.
That's
Did
where
you
I
do
started-
anything before then, or what kind of music were you into before that?
I was
Have
a
you always
massive
been into
heavy
it?
kid.
Yeah,
like,
what
like
kind of
through
heavy
high
stuff,
school, I
like-
was like
Like bands and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really start getting into EDM or like electronic music producers until probably year 12 was when I started looking at all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like between year 9 and even to this day, I still listen to these bands. Even at work,
Yeah.
like I'll be in the kitchen cooking, and if I'm on a shift on my own that day, I'll have like Bullet for My Valentine playing or old school Escape the
Yeah.
Fate.
Okay, yeah.
A Day to Remember. A Day to Remember is hands down one of my favorite bands. We Came as Romans, 9 Inch Nails. So even still listen to Linkin Park. My first ever live show I ever went to for a band, I was 16, and it was one of my friends at the time in high school. She, oh, I'm good.
Oh, no,
the
the
bottle opener.
bottle
Oh,
opener.
my bad. She messaged me, and I had to ask my mum because I was still underage, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, "Hey, I got a spare ticket to an Evanescence concert."
Evanescence.
And
That's
I was,
classic
she's like,
old
"Do you want to
school, yeah.
come?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is awesome! I'd love to go to Evanescence." And
What's an Evanescence concert like?
Yeah,
That would have been
was-
interesting.
It was interesting. I was like the only like white kid not with black hair.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was awesome. Like Amy Lee sounds amazing live. She sounds exactly the same live as she does on her records. Like it was amazing. The drum solos from the drummer as well. Like were like there was like 3 or 4 of them, and they were insane. And like every time biffing his drumsticks out into the crowd, and people going crazy trying to find them.
Yeah.
And, it was the best $80 ticket I ever bought in my life.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was
Yeah.
right here at the Brisbane Exhibition Centre too.
Yeah.
I had to catch a train in from Caboolture because I lived out in Bribie. That's where I grew up.
Oh, really? How
Yeah.
Bribey?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Information?
Year 5 to year 12 out in Bribie.
Yeah.
And,
But you were born in New Zealand?
yeah,
though?
so I
okay.
moved to Australia in 2005.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and it was great. And then I've just like I didn't go to another live show after that one until I probably 2016 when I moved to Canada.
Yeah. So how did you then like get into that kind of music? Were you into it at all before you moved to Canada, or like
Into like
electronic or dance
Yeah, I
music
was,
at all?
yeah.
So
I-
how did that happen for you? Like getting into that music? Did it just sort of you just
So-
started hearing it, or did you go out and see it somewhere, or
the
what?
Met. So this is going to come back, and
The
I know
Met.
Greg's going to be sitting there licking his chops listening to this.
Yeah.
But,
Licking his chops or off chops,
off
either one.
chops, either one.
Probably both.
So when I turned 18, a lot of my mates were already 18 because my birthday is 3 days after Christmas. So like all my friends throughout that whole year of 2013 were turning 18, going to the Valley and all that kind of stuff. And I was always the last one. So when I turned 18, my mates like, we're going to the Valley. We're going to the Met tonight. And I was
So
like,
are you saying your birthday's the 28th?
Yeah.
Because that's when we used to run our blah 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 music
Yeah,
festival.
I remember you telling
It
me
was
about
always
that
the
last week.
28th.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
because then
it would have
you
been
didn't
on your
want to
birthday.
be like artists got to travel, and then everyone's still hungover from Christmas and all that kind
Well,
of stuff.
because it was a breakbeat festival, and Breaks Fest is on New Year's, Boxing Day,
yeah,
day after Christmas, over in Perth.
Mm.
So then there's like a day they play that. They basically spend the next day traveling from Perth to Brisbane, and then they play the gig that
Exactly,
here
yeah.
because it's a huge breakbeat festival, and our festival's a breakbeat festival as well. So but such a big industry because it's that Christmas, New Year's time between where no one's really doing anything. It's not really like a clubbing time. It's so everyone would just come, like you'd have managers, people who worked at bars,
yeah,
promoters, like from everyone, and it was just like this big industry festival.
yeah.
So good, man. Like,
Oh,
we'd sell cheap tickets. We'd fucking
cheap
it'd be-
beer.
Well, actually, we were the only festival in Queensland to be selling full strength alcohol.
Oh, really?
At our festivals, and the reason we could do it was because we found a loophole where if you got someone who was, say, a pub who
Yeah.
had a liquor license,
Yeah.
they could come in, and if you just paid them to be the licensee to do it,
Yeah.
so you technically didn't need to get a license because you were using their license.
Yeah, exactly.
Because liquor licensing wouldn't issue you a full strength, license.
Yeah.
So what you've got to do is you've actually got to like do a deal with the pub or whatever who has the license, and then because then it's technically not you doing it.
So you can't. Nothing gets you in trouble.
Well, no, because like they won't give you a license to sell full strength alcohol at a festival. But if you're paying someone else to come in and provide the
then
alcohol for it, then you can, because it's not. So it's this little loophole. So we would sell full strength beer and everything at our festival, which is cool. But like it just really, really good. And the whole vibe was that we would cap numbers too. It was like 2,000, that's it.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, so it would be like you'd have room to dance, you know what I mean? Like you could actually go to like a tent, and it wasn't just like shoulder to shoulder. It was like you could actually, if you wanted, like have like a little, couple of meters dance like with a group of yous, like you'd have like room to like actually have fun, like, and it was so good, like
Was it whereabouts did you do it?
So we did a few places, like we did it like the outside where like the cultural forecourt, where the big what's that Ferris wheel on South Bank?
The Brisbane Eye thing.
Yeah. It's so that little grassed area out the front of the performance center
like
there.
River Stage.
No, not River Stage, but this is on like South Bank, near the bridge and stuff where the buses go over, and where all the Q Pack, like the performance center is. There's like a grassed area there that's just an open grass area, and we would used to just like get it off the hose. But we've done it at Kangaroo Point. Then we did it like a block party outside of Oh Hello. We took over Cloudland.
Oh, really?
We took over Cloudland. We had like the main stage in the main area, and then we had like two other stages in what were the function rooms upstairs and stuff. And like that was mental, because it's such a nice place.
Yeah,
Such
I've never
a
actually
nice,
been in there.
fancy venue, and everyone's just like, because everyone's like into breakbeat, and it was like it was always like we always had like a loose crowd, like just drinking, like
everyone's
so
just getting
much
out of control,
just like piss, like, and so we'd always like be like, once you make this much on the bar, we want to cut, like, because we know that our they're gonna sell a shitload over the bar. Yeah, so we'd always have like a deal like that, and it's like we do it the first time, and and they'd be like, oh, we'll give you a little bit, and then like the next time we'd always come back, they'd be like, oh yeah, let's do that, like let's do a deal, like, because they know that everyone just like drinks shitloads. Yeah, so it's like Cloudland, this nice, classy, fancy place that usually is like, people real nice and sweet. Yeah. And this is just like festival gear. Like people wearing it's in summer, people wearing singlets and stuff, and everyone's just like loose everywhere in this amazing venue. But yeah, that was a really good one.
That kind of reminds me of so there's a bar in Whistler called Longhorns. And it sits right. So you ski down the last run. And you unclip your board, and the front door of the bar's right there. You walk in, and they have this big patio. And so
that's perfect.
Yeah, it was amazing. So they do this patio party series through the winter time, right? Like winter coming into summer, and then they do it through summer as well. And so they'd have the DJ play on the balcony, or they used to be on the roof, but then they've recently, I've been seeing, they've renovated this whole new stage booth right out the front, and they have people like, my first patio party was Benny Benassi, and
that would have been sick.
Holy,
I remember Benny Benassi back in the day, man.
Benny Benassi,
fucking tunes, because I started DJing around that time when he was like Satisfaction, all those like big tunes were like coming out and stuff, and it's like it
was unreal. And so I remember the first. This turns into another like 3-day being awake bender story. Yeah. But so basically we it was a Monday afternoon, and because Mojo's was never open on a Monday, we always closed Mondays because like we were open all night Sunday. And so Monday afternoon, Benny Benassi's playing, and like in this patio, like there's like tabletops everywhere and like high stool chairs and stuff. Yeah. So basically, by halfway through the patio party, before Benny Benassi even gets on, there's like two openers, and everyone's already cooked, wasted, everyone's fighting for a tabletop to dance on top of. Like, you can, like there's these big
It's
concrete
at that
slabs.
stage in the night.
Oh no, this is at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, in the afternoon, yeah.
And
that stage, yeah.
and people like, you can't leave your table, you lose your spot. You lose your
it's
spot.
that vibe,
And
you got to send someone to get drinks for everyone.
exactly.
Yeah,
and then you wait in a line, and then like people want shots, people want beers, people want bombs, people want so they used to do these. They had these big golden champagne guns, right?
Yeah.
And they look like those old school mobster mafia Tommy guns, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you stick a big bottle of champagne in it. It's like $300 to get it. So basically, you stick the bottle of champagne in it and you shake it, and it shoots the champagne out of it. This gold gun. That's all it is. That's all you get out of it.
Yeah. Can you drink the champagne?
You can drink the champagne, but people just use it to shoot at people.
Man, some people have too much money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, we get it. You got money.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've got this
cool.
video of that Benny Benassi show, and like it's me and my four of my best mates who I still like keep in contact with this day. Some of them I still see regularly. And it's like just before Benny Benassi came on, and we're all drinking out of like Stein glasses of beer, and because over there, like you get a jug of beer here in Australia, and they call a jug of beer that big. A jug of beer over there is that big, and it costs $17.
Yeah, so
and
it's bigger.
you're just drinking out of the jug by the end of the night.
Yeah.
But like Benny Benassi came on, I remember my buddy Sam turns around and goes to me, he's like, "Oi, it's Benny Be Nasty." And I was like, "What did you say?" He's like, "Oh, so nasty, Benny Be Nasty." and so it became a thing where every time someone's like, "Oh, that's nasty," someone's like, "Benny Be Nasty."
Yeah.
And for 3 days we were awake. And the more we were awake, the more delusional we got, right?
Yeah. And then it's like always, it's like a callback too, because you like it's the same joke. You keep bringing it back, like, but apply it to a new thing. Like,
exactly.
Classic. It always happens with like kick-ons.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff like that. There's always something like, I went to one the other week, and a guy who op shops, he's found these floral jackets.
Yeah.
And so he found one time. He's like, "That's awesome. I'm going to buy that." And then so now he goes to all these other op shops, and he's just found the same jackets at different op shops at different times. And so now he like walks in and like sees one, and he goes, just like laughs, and he goes, "How much? I'll have that." And so he's got like 8 of one floral pattern, like color, and then he's got 3 of another, and that 5 of another, and he's got 2 with it have matching like pants and stuff. So like we just like got it out at the kick-ons, and like everyone's like wearing it around, like and in the place, and we're like, "We're getting the band back together. We got the band back together." That was the joke the whole night, because like we're all wearing the same
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And he's like, "Just leave your band fees at the, I don't want to be chasing you guys. It's only $5.
Yeah.
Make sure you leave your band fees before you leave on the counter. Like, don't want to have to chase you for it." So the whole joke all night was, we got the band back together kind of thing.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is like, we ended up being throughout that 3-day period. We went to, so after Benny Benassi, we had to go DJ like after that. So we had, so the show finished at 8. We had to be at the club by 9:30, which was literally just around the corner. So we're like, we have an hour and a half to spare. Where do we go get a drink? Or what do we do? Like, do we go back to the house, or do we? So we go to my favorite bar. It's my favorite bar in Worcester, and it's still to this day, apart from Mojo's, will be my favorite bar. It's called 3 Below.
Yeah.
So 3 Below. So it's down a flight of stairs again, and it's where the local cinema is as well. So the cinema's down there, and it's a restaurant and bar. And so this place is notorious. You go in and you don't remember leaving ever, because you can get 4 shots for $14, and a double, like a basic double, $7.75.
Yeah, that's pretty mental.
And so
it reminds me of the dollar drinks days.
Yeah,
like that's that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like,
and so
just dangerous.
But that
like,
wasn't on any specific day. It was every day.
Every day,
Every day.
Yeah.
So, so we went in there, and like we didn't need any more to drink, but we're at that point where like you've drunk enough and it's not really doing anything. It's kind of just keeping you level and stopping you from sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So we're down there, and we're like, we should probably sober up or eat something before we have to go play, because we're playing for 5 hours. So we've got some like bruschetta and like some like mashed potato and some chips, and we're just like dipping everything in and eating it. And then we ran over to open up, and so we played all night, and then we ended up at a house party till about 10 in the morning, and then I remember Sam turns around and goes to me, he goes, all right, I'll be back. I was like, where are you going? He's like, just make sure you stay here. I'll be like 20 minutes.
Yeah, don't leave. Don't leave without me.
3 hours later.
Yeah.
3 hours later.
Always the way.
Comes back and he's like, I picked up some goodies. So he'd been to the bottle shop. He'd been to go buy some smokes. He went and bought some snacks. And then so we drank through the rest of the day and ate the snacks and everything like that. And then we had to go and play again that night again. And we still hadn't slept.
Yeah.
It's
like, I feel like we just did this.
Yeah.
But
that's basically the life of what, like I was saying, that it's not a realistic lifestyle.
Yeah.
But that's what the lifestyle's, or you don't have, well, it doesn't have to be a lifestyle.
It can be that.
But it's
fun.
For a lot of people, it is that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
it's easy to get caught up into it because that's
a
lifestyle that's prolific over there. A lot of people are into it. Yeah.
And like,
and it's because you said like lots of people come in as like the working holiday thing. So they're there also to be having a holiday and having fun. So they're like, oh, when else am I going to get to stay up for 3 days and and play 2 gigs and and do this it's kind of like that once in a lifetime kind of like moment. Sort of thing,
I don't think I'll ever find somewhere in the world you could ever do that again. I think it's like its own thing. That's the same thing with Whistler. That people call it the Whistler bubble. The locals call it the bubble. So it's the Whistler bubble. So once you're in that bubble, it's really, really hard to get out of it.
Yeah,
and
it's just like
but it's also a choice. Like there were some times where I was like, it's like I shouldn't be doing this. I should be saving money so I can actually do things. But like it was like I get really bad FOMO.
Yeah.
So like my friends are having fun. I'm like I have to be there for it.
But they're gonna tell me about the stories.
Exactly. Everyone's gonna tell me what happened.
And then I'll be like, oh, I missed out. Well, let's have a quick break. Go to the bathroom and stuff, and we'll come back and we'll keep going.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good.
So we're back. Yep. This is actually the first time I've done the podcast when there's been music next door.
Yeah, right.
So I hope that the sound is all right for everyone. I think it will be. It looks like on the waveform we're not picking up too much from next door.
Well, that's always good.
Yeah. So, we were talking, a lot about the music and stuff and getting into that. But I know you're a chef as well. Yeah. So how did you get into? Is that something you did when you came back, or did you learn over?
I've been doing it. This has been my 11th year being a chef.
So before you went over and got into the whole music thing, you were already.
Oh yeah. So when I was in
chef, like
year
you'd already
9,
trained,
year 9, my parents knew the manager and his wife who managed the Brisbane Island Surf Club.
Yeah.
And so they needed a dishy. I was about almost 14, and they're like, it's time for you to get a part-time job. So I was like, all right. So I went and tried that. Eventually, like working like 4 nights a week, like after school and then always weekends. Like it ruined my social life in high school for going to parties and stuff like that. But I kind of
you made up for it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't really in the cool crowd anyway. Crowd. I was more of the person who was friends with everyone. Didn't have really a set group of friends.
Yeah.
I got into then I started like asking them to teach me things, and from there I like started wanting to learn more and more. So teach me more and more, and then I got on the line, and then I learned from there, and then I kind of left there, and then I jumped around between jobs, for 3 or 4 months, and then that's when I decided it was like, it's really hard to get a job here because I didn't have my license or anything like that and stuff like that. So
and this was over on Brisbane still?
Yeah, still in Brisbane, So then my parents said, hey, we'll buy you a one-way ticket back to New Zealand. You can just go from there. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then I got into, because I was doing surf lifesaving as well. So I had like that background. So when I first moved back to New Zealand, I got a lifeguard job at one of the thermal pools.
Okay, yeah.
There, so I was
thermal
doing that.
pools.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
lifeguard job.
Yeah. And they had like a kids' water playground and shit like that too. But like I was fresh 18, all they wanted to do was party. So I'd always rock up half an hour late, which was really bad.
Yeah.
Or hungover, and then like it was a boring job. It really was.
Yeah.
It wasn't much happening.
Just standing around
So I would fall asleep sitting down. It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
And like, I'm glad no one died while I was doing that.
Yeah, you feel so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But most of the time it was just taking like pH levels of the pools and
make sure it's all good.
And checking water temperatures and stuff and making sure the bathrooms were clean. It wasn't really fun. So then I went from...
It's not even really a lifeguard
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
like, really,
It's pool
you're just-
attendant.
Yeah, pool attendant. Yeah.
And then I went from that and I got back into hospitality because I wanted to break out of hospitality. And then I got back into it, but I was working front of house at a bar at an English pub.
Okay.
And then it wasn't much money. So I was like, I got to get back into chefing because it's the only way I'm going to earn money because it's where all my background is. So I got into chefing again and then just chef right through until I moved to Canada. And then it's actually interesting. My job that I got for working for Whistler Blackcomb was an alpine hut worker is what it was called. So what I had to do was
on a poutine station.
No,
just making poutine for everyone.
It was actually one of the only little because it was right in the Alpine. So I woke up at 5:45 every morning.
Yeah.
Get ready. I'd put on my work clothes, and then on top of that, I'd put on my snowboard boots, my snowboard pants, my jacket, my helmet, and everything like that. Grab my board, and then so I'd snowboard down to the bottom to where the lift is. Get on that lift. Go up, get on a second lift, go up again, then you get to one of the big lodges at the top of the mountain. And then because early in the mornings, the ski patrol are doing their bombing runs to bomb for avalanches and stuff like that. So every morning it was like a fucking war zone. It was just boof, boof.
Because that's crazy. People like if you don't know about, you know, I suppose like snowfields and stuff like you don't know about that. And I had no idea about that until I went to New Zealand. Because this was the first time I saw snow and went to Mount Hutt and stuff.
Yeah.
And up there, and there was like there's signs that say like with pictures of like the
explosive
things. It was like if you see one of these, don't touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and tell us and that. And
sometimes they don't go off.
Yeah, and I went up to the like people at the thing. And I was just like, what's that about? Like, why are there these exactly these bombs around that? They're like, oh, they use it for the avalanche stuff, and I was like, really? Like, I had no idea. You know,
it was really cool. So they used to bomb that, and we'd have to wait to see if the run that we had to take to work was clear, because they also have snowcats out like grooming the runs and stuff like that, and they also have like these winches they put into the top of the run if they have to go down a steep hill, and those winches you can't really see. So if you snowboard into one, it's gonna cut you in half.
Yeah.
So we'd wait for those and we'd clear out, and then we had to snowboard another 25 minutes down to another lift to get on that lift and go back up to where our little hut was. And what we used to serve was the only place out of the whole resort that was service, we do waffles.
Okay, yeah.
So buttermilk waffles.
Yeah.
And like it was really because as a resort, they money hungry, they charge heaps. So like you get a big waffle, it would probably be like that big, and it would come with like 4 mountains of whipped cream on it, chocolate sprinkles, bacon, banana, and berry compote on it, and then you could add a shot of Bailey's on it for an extra $4.
Yeah.
And all I would do was bang out waffles all day, and then we also used to do these wood fire meat sandwiches. So we'd do a Montreal smoked brisket.
Oh, that sounds so good.
And then we'd do a pork cheddar sandwich as well. So it's like the pork loin wrapped around with pork belly.
I'm getting hungry now thinking about
crackling
it.
on top.
I haven't eaten for ages. I think you said you hadn't eaten.
Yeah, I haven't eaten. I had like 2 pieces of toast earlier, so I'm like, but like, and it would be served on like ciabatta bread and have like Gruyere cheese melted onto it in the wood fire, and then have like a nice beetroot and walnut feta salad on the side, and then a cup of soup, and you get that for like $18. You'd only need one of them, and you'd be set for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
but that's what I did all day, and then end of the day, we'd clean it all up and then get back into our snow gear. And it was like an hour and a half ride to the bottom of the mountain to where it'd come off the mountain. My back door was right there. Like I'd snowboard into my back door.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's an experience. And like if anyone's thinking about doing it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so many other ski resorts in Canada as well. Like you got Big White in, where is it? It's on the other side of BC. And then you can go to Banff, which is in Alberta, and then then you got Lake Louise, Sun Peaks, all that kind of stuff as well, which are also like Sun Peaks is where Snow Bombing Canada happens. Yeah. Which is really cool. Like it's the big festival that happens at the top of the mountains and stuff like that.
I know snow bombing over. I think it was in.
They do it in Austria as well.
Austria. Yeah.
I know Penny LA actually played that.
Yeah,
when she won. When she actually, I think it was twice she's played there actually.
Yeah, I think she's gone back. Yeah.
Yeah, she went back. Yeah. Penny's actually she's a great chick as well. helped me out heaps since being back here. Became really good friends through the Met, which is actually I met her because of Jess, my partner as well.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Jess was she was on one night, and I was working as a promoter. So I was standing at the lighting booth in the Met. She comes up, and Penny was headlining down in Coco. And she comes up to me. She goes, "I just met the coolest chick." And I was like, "Oh yeah, who was it?" She's like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure she's the DJ headlining downstairs." I was like, "Penny LA." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I haven't met her yet." She goes, "Well, I met her. She's great. You have to meet her." And so
Yeah.
the week later, 2 weeks later, actually, I come in. I finished my day job as a chef at 9 o'clock, and then at the Met by 9:30. And she walks in, and I approached her and I spoke to her,
Yeah.
and we actually got a pretty good conversation going, and she's helped me out with a lot since being back here as well, with like starting my mix series, which is a big one, showing me a lot with like a couple of crash courses in Ableton as well. 'Cause I don't really know much. But yeah, she's been a pretty big influence since being back in the Brisbane scene. She's also been around in the Brisbane scene for a while too. So I thank her for that. And she's also a really good friend of mine as well.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking to her.
I don't see her that much, but whenever
she works a lot. She works a lot.
Whenever I see her, it's always a good little chat.
Exactly. Yeah. She's just like a really good energy about her. And a real the way I'd feel is like a motherhood figure, like a mother figure as well. Like she makes sure everyone's looked after, and I
kind of feel when you just said about that energy thing, I kind of feel like any of the people who have won your shot over the years have that
good
like
energy.
Shaw's got good energy and stuff. LJ, Penny, like Mickey Blue, like all these people who have won, they're all like legends. Like actually like cool to hang out with.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not just like really good DJs. They're actually it's like. You could just hang out with them
I guess you got to have that good energy about you, especially if you got to pursue DJ, because no one wants to like look up to someone with their music and let their music be amazing, and then meet their idol in person and they're just an absolute tosser.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you got to portray yourself as not portray, like you just got to be a good person.
You got to be a good real person.
Yeah, like
be kind.
Be kind. Exactly. Be kind. It's on the shirt, people.
Be kind.
On the shirt. But like, yeah, so like people you've just named as well, like especially a lot of like my friends in Canada as well. So like two people, like I was saying, like I always repost and still follow, is like the guys from Case of the Mondays. I'm not sure if you heard of Case of the Mondays before.
I'm not sure.
They're actually I consider them two pretty good friends as well. They're a DJ duo who met over there. So you've got Johnny T, who's Canadian, who's from Toronto.
Yep.
And he's been living in Whistler for years. We call him Johnny Blue Eyes. He's he's always the center of attention, and he loves to party. And then you've got Andrew, who his DJ name's LaDuda, so we just call him Duda. Duda's Australian. He's from Sydney. He was pretty immersed in the scene in Sydney. He's pretty tight with people like Dom Dollar, Torrent Foot. Go Freak. Like the boys from Go Freak as well, which actually that's just Caleb now and Go Freak. Who's actually killing it as well. He's pulling out some awesome tracks. But yeah, so I actually learned. So when I was saying that I'd spend 6 hours a day in front of decks, so I also used to go. So they had their night when I first moved to Whistler at Garfinkel's. They have called their DJ name is Case of the Mondays, but they would call their night Case of the Mondays as well, and it would be on a Monday.
Yeah.
And so I used to go and always hang out behind the booth with them because it was this big open space behind them.
And
I would just sit over their shoulder and I'd kind of just watch. I just watched.
What are they doing there? What's that?
What button are you doing there? Like which effects are you using for this? And like cute little echo out tricks and stuff like that. And like just like cool little things that make your set quirky, right? And Duda's really good at that. And like Duda's also an amazing producer. Like the amount of time and effort he's put into learning how to master his craft and stuff like that. And some of the tracks they come out with are just awesome. I remember hearing their first, the first remix I heard from them when they started doing their thing was, that song Bad and Bougie? Yeah. So they brought out a remix of that. And I remember hearing that, and it was on the Longhorns patio party.
Yeah.
They did, and I remember hearing it. I'm just like, this is fucking awesome. And I'm standing on my table, like just drunk as. I'm like, I need this. And I remember spending like 3 weeks trying to find the remix, but it hadn't been released yet. And I was still learning on like how to like find music and like, where to search for it and all that kind of stuff. And like I just asked Dudo, and Dudo was like, I'll just send it to you. I was like, oh, well,
because people are just always like, I'll just send it. It's with anyone. Like you just ask them, and they're like, yeah, here, man.
If you're gonna play it for me, then go for it. Yeah. And then from there, like I so the Sunday nights at Mojo's, he was one of the main acts, Laduda. So like he just do his own thing as well as Case the Mondays. And it was me, him, and so another guy he was a resident every club in town. He's been in town for years, and like he's like
just the OG.
Yeah, he was the OG.
The Godfather.
So his DJ name was Fidel Cash Flow. And
Fidel Cash Flow.
Yeah, but his name is Phil, and Phil is honestly, I can't even put Phil into words. He was just like, the best word to say is a gem. Like he was just like heart of gold. Yeah. Always loved to joke around. Always keen to get on the piss. And like when I first met him, he turned 40, and like he still parties like he's 20 years old, and he still.
I know some of those creatures. I've met some of those absolute monsters, like in a good way. Like like just
he was
old and know what they're doing,
and he'd open for everyone under the sun. Like any big name act that came through Whistler, he was always on the spot act. Every time without doubt. Well, it doesn't matter what club it was at. Yeah, he was there. But his main clubs were Mojo's, Max Fish, and Garfinkel's. Yeah, and he was actually the first person. He's the one who originally started the glow party at Mojo's. Okay, yeah. So like these two promoter chicks wanted to start a glow party. Said to Phil's like, would you like DJing it? And then he's like, yeah, right. And then they grew it into this thing that happened every week. And for like by the time I'd met him, it'd been going for 10 years.
And so it's still going?
It's still going. Well, the club hasn't reopened since COVID.
Yeah, but it's the events.
But like, the club actually adopted it as its trademark thing. So like, everyone knows Mojo's is the glow party. Like that's what it was. That's what it was.
Taglo, you'll have to get over there so you can reminisce with your glow stick days. He was telling us that he used to be like the glow stick guy at festivals. He'd just have glow sticks everywhere and be like, playing with them, like having fun.
That's the best.
So yeah, you have to get over to Canada, mate, and check that out.
Oh, like I can even post links at the bottom of the podcast when it's done, and there's like promo videos from the club of like glow night and stuff like that. It's just. I think about it now, it gives me goosebumps. Like I love watching it. Yeah. Like I've even got like dumb tattoos on my body dedicated to the club. Like, I've got like that one there. It's got like Mojo's Idiot across my leg.
Hashtag Mojo's Idiot.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then I've got like the club logo on my ankle as well. I can show you later. It's like a little stick man. And he's like got cross eyes it's like crosses on his eyes, and he's like holding a beer. There's like bubbles coming out of the beer and stuff like that. And he's like, he's like really drunk.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's actually modeled after he's actually now one of the ex-owners of the club who he owned half the club with this other guy, Matt, who still owns his half. But just after I left, Greg shortly sold his half and moved back into Vancouver to be closer with his partner. And but like he owned the club since like the early 2000s. Yeah. And like it's like good old. It was 22, 21 years he owned the club for. Yeah, yeah. Like the first beach party,
that's a good stint.
So the first beach party they threw, actually, they put hot tubs in the club.
Jeez, yeah.
And they had 2 hot tubs in the club, and there were 2 mud puddles at the end of the club because all the sand going in the hot tubs. That was the last time they did that. But it was, I remember telling me the story. He's like, we had hot tubs in the club. And I was like, how the fuck did you get hot tubs in this club? Like that back door is tiny and you can't get them down those 2 flights of stairs. It just doesn't make sense. And he's like, I don't know how we did it, but we did.
We had to assemble it. It came down in flat pack.
Assemble and disassemble pack.
We got an IKEA hot tub and built it. with the little Allen key. Everything screws together with the Allen key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
So what about like, you're saying you've had like a little bit of a crash course in Ableton with Penny,
Yeah.
and that, but is that something you want to do more of? Do you want to get into production?
I do.
What?
To push like as far as my career is going at the moment, like it's hit a standstill, and like
I mean, everyone's hit a standstill.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Production, I want to do it. I want to make my own things and release it for people to hear and stuff like that. But like, I'm also in the midst of trying to break out of hospitality again. Like, until COVID's completely gone, I'm going to stay in my job that I'm in now because I earn enough money.
Yeah.
And
where do you work? Where do you work?
So I work down at it's a bar called Street Corner Jimmy, and it's down in the Tenerife.
Have to come in and
come over. So we serve like really nice cocktails, craft beers are always on tap, and then it's a lot of like shared food. Like we just redid the menu.
Tapas type.
Yeah,
share plates and things.
So we redid the menu at the beginning of the year. So also my head chef's one of my best mates from high school who hired me.
That's cool.
Straight back from Canada.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which was really cool. And so it's like stuff like I do like flatbread pizzas, like we do like 5 different burgers, and then we do things like vegan nachos, like plant-based nachos with vegan cheese on it, and then like deep fried mac and cheese bars with a bacon jam. Like that's just really good.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
Deep fried mac and cheese bars.
Yeah, so we make the mac and cheese and then put it into trays and then put it in the fridge and let it set. And then once it's set, put it in the freezer just so it freezes that little bit so when we try to crumb it, it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
So do that. And then so it ends up being like a 3-day process. So you make the mac and cheese, you freeze it, then you pull it out, you cut it, then you freeze it again, and then you pull it out and crumb it as quick as possible, put it in containers and put it in the freezer. And you can just put them in the deep fryer to order, right? Because it only takes like 3-4 minutes for it to fully cook.
Yeah, because they're already cooked.
Yeah, that's already cooked.
You're just really like heating it, like defrosting and heating it up,
basically,
and cooking the crumb, on the batter.
And then we do like Chipotle chicken tacos. We also do another one of my dishes was deep fried crumbed tarragon mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
So
that'd be dope.
Yeah, and then it comes like a lemon and tarragon aioli, and like a rocket red onion and parmesan salad kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
Then
do you have like a signature dish that you like to make? Like if it
depends on what
home?
time of the day.
But okay.
So you got breakfast, you got lunch, you got dinner.
Well,
if anyone follows me on
give
Instagram,
us all of them. Then.
Every Tuesday is my Friday at work, so I like to go and make a whole new dish every Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
So it's a nice little send off.
Yeah,
so
cool.
My favorite breakfast one is I learned from a restaurant working in New Zealand, and it's called a hash stack.
Yeah,
so it's like a thick potato rosti at the bottom. It's about that big, and then you get an oval hash brown, and then you either have you put your wilted spinach. You can either have smoked salmon or bacon on there, and then you get like a triangle hash brown. Put that on top of it, and then you have a half roasted tomato, a poached egg. You stick that all on top of each other. Put a skewer through it, and then you smother it in hollandaise.
That sounds pretty good.
And that's it.
That sounds. I'm getting hungry. That's really good. I love like a good I don't often I don't really have breakfast at home, but I love it when I can either make a really awesome breakfast or go and have a good breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a special breakfast for me. It's like I love it, but it's like a every now and again special thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I want to put effort in and make a good breakfast and have a nice breakfast. I don't want to just have cereal or toast. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So one of my chef mates he'll love this. So he's the guy who I worked with at this restaurant where we did this hashtag. We used to put a little twist on it when we made it for ourselves. So we used to have this peri-peri sauce. So we'd put the hollandaise and the peri-peri sauce together. Yeah, so it was like a peri-peri hollandaise.
Yeah, that'd be
and
sick.
put that on top. It was like a spicy.
Have you seen the podcast I did in here with Cut Loose?
No, I haven't.
Because he actually brought in sauces because we were we got to do one where it's cooking a bit and stuff. And so he did brought in all sauces you would have at home.
Yeah.
And showed you how you could combine them to
make
right.
That's cool.
A burger sauce. He's like, this is how you make a standard burger sauce, isn't it? Tomato, mustard.
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
that kind of stuff. So that was really fun because we got to play around with
Experiment.
sauces. Yeah, and he had like KFC and Macca's burgers. So we like without sauce on them though, and so then we like made our sauce and like.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you should go watch it.
Yeah, that's
it was
awesome.
a really fun one.
I actually got cupcakes in my bag for you too.
That's right, you said that.
Oh, I'll grab those if you.
Yeah, grab the cupcake. We'll have a little. You said Jess, your partner, made them.
Yeah, Jess made.
Yeah.
We made them the other night. Well, after we made dinner, a little bit of. She even drew love hearts on there for you, mate.
Oh, look at that. Love hearts on it.
Red. Oh, they're a little bit melted.
That's love.
Right.
That's all, G. We'll have a little bit.
Red velvet with strawberry cream cheese icing.
Nice. I'm keen.
Yeah.
So what about lunch then? What's your lunch special? I want to hear all of them because I'm hungry now and I want to just like rub it in on myself.
I made this chorizo burger the other day for my
that
boss.
sounds awesome.
That tastes good.
They always say don't eat on a podcast. Just like listen to a setting. Yeah, so the chorizo burger.
So basically,
it is good though, Jess. Good job. That's really nice.
Thanks, babe. So basically, so we do a prawn and chorizo pizza. So I have to slice up chorizo like every second week, kind of thing. But so I got the food processor, got some of that chorizo, and I put in the food processor and blitzed it up into like almost like a mince, almost. So it's like a chunky
make like
mince,
a burger almost.
And then I got some beef mince from the beef patties we got, and then like cut it in half, and then mixed it into my own one, and I grilled that off. And then so I had some slaw. So we make our own slaw. So I made some creamy. So I put some vegan aioli because we use vegan aioli at work. It tastes so much better than normal aioli. I'm not a vegan, but it tastes amazing.
Because I've had vegan mayo and I don't think it's as good as normal mayo. The vegan mayo. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the one I tried. You know, there's different ones. Like you can take. It's
the garlic.
There's
the garlic
good and
you need.
Yeah, there's good and bad of everything. You know, like, and maybe I just tasted the bad one.
Yeah. So basically, minced that together. So I made the patty and I cooked that off, and then I put some vegan aioli with the slaw, and we use the buns. We use a potato bun, so they're made out of potato starch.
Yep.
So they're really tasty. And then so I grilled that off, and then I cut up 2 pieces of brie, put that on top of the patty, and then
on it, just going all out.
Yeah, we got some sweet mustard. It's like pickled relish. So I put that on the top bun, and then that was it. And it was like a nice like.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, like
I would love to have that, like, because the chorizo's got such a nice flavor.
Yeah, it's got that heat to it too.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, like blending it up and like mixing it with the other patty, it'd be just a really nice.
Yeah,
it's a nice touch to a patty, like a flavor.
It definitely gives, because the chorizo holds so much fat content in it as well. So fat is flavor, right?
Yeah, that's
fat is always flavor.
That's where all the flavor is.
And so like it kind of seeps out when you're cooking it, but like because of the beef that's in there as well, the beef's absorbing that fat that's coming from the chorizo.
Yeah. So
it's combining it. And it just tastes amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us about the dinner one now. I want to hear the dinner.
So this is like a little bit of an experimental thing that I did when I was in New Zealand as well. As venison's a big thing over there.
Yeah.
And so each meat has kind of like a fruit pair to it, right? So you got like duck and orange, right? Or you got pork and apple. So venison
works well.
Venison goes really good with strawberries.
Oh, cool.
So what I did, I got a venison tenderloin and kind of like butterflied it out till it was flat.
Yep.
But I'm still rolling it back up. So I diced up some strawberries and some spinach and put it inside this
cool.
venison tenderloin and rolled it back up and wrapped a piece of bacon around it.
That's awesome.
And so I grilled that and then put it in the oven just so it was still a little bit medium rare on the inside.
Yeah.
And then char grilled some asparagus and some bok choy.
Yeah.
And then made a parsnip puree and some garlic red skin potato mash.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
And then a red wine jus on top of it.
Yeah. So my next question is when are you gonna cook for me? That was the whole reason I asked you about these. So you get excited about it. I'm like, so when do I get to try these things? When am I coming around for a little
when are you coming around for dinner? Oh, that's right. Jess makes a good butter chicken too. So come around for that.
Butter chicken's. It's not my favorite of the Indian curries. I think I said this at at your place the other week. I was like, oh, butter chicken. It's like the Western version of Indian food. You know, like I'm the hugest korma fan. I'm a big,
really? Yeah.
love korma, man. Like
korma's always good. Yeah, have a nice
Sa-
mango chutney with korma.
oh man, a good lamb korma or something is just like
Lamb's so good. I prefer lamb over anything. It's because I'm Kiwi as well, so like grow up on eating lamb.
yeah.
And like lamb, some mashed potato, cauliflower, some cheese sauce
Lamb's
on top
awesome,
of it.
man. A lamb roast or like I'm all
like
about
a
lamb.
nice butterfly piece of lamb. You rub it in some garlic, some oil, and some rosemary, and slow roast it for 3 hours.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah,
Like, you just eat that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said like you sort of maybe want to move out of hospitality eventually once things go back to normal. So what do you want to do then? Like,
I want to break more into the music scene. Like, I like working in nightclubs in Whistler was like the highlight of my life. Like, I met so many awesome people. I got so many awesome opportunities that that's what I want to do. Like, because like not only was I was promoter, I worked security for a while. I bartended a little bit. I was a bar back. I also branched out because I was really good friends with the owner. I used to come in a lot earlier for my shifts, practice, and then like if we had a show on that night, I'd set up the stages, I'd set up the decks, I'd do everything, and then I would help manage the artist as well, which was cool.
Like artist liaison stuff.
Yeah, kind of
Look
like
after them. Make sure.
See, that's what I'd like to do, something like that, or like somebody's tour manager. Like I'm looking, guys, so just like hit me up.
I've got to do some of that stuff. Like when I was doing the festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
For when I first started, I was doing the artist liaison role, so that was my job, was to look after the green room.
Yeah.
That's so fun, that role. Like,
yeah, I can imagine it is.
Because it's literally like you've got people working under you, know, volunteers or whoever, or people working there, and it's like someone's like, oh man, I'd really love like this, and it's like, all right, it's like, wait, can you go get this? Like whatever, you know, whatever.
Give me this. I want it. Snap it now. Thank you.
Yeah, and like, you know, get all the food in for everyone. Like, oh, what do you want to eat? Like, this is what we can get. Like, you know, and looking after them and stuff. And you just get to have good chats like this.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like where you just like have.
And that's how you branch out, make connections, right? And
exactly.
And like you make a good impression. People keep you in the back of their head, and they're like, "Oh, that dude was sick. We should get that dude to come do this."
And that's the thing that's funny because like when I got the sort of head promoter role at Family for a bit there with George Carmichael and all that. So many people like around Brisbane who I didn't know that I had done the festival stuff with like addicts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Were like, how the fuck do you get that head promoter thing at Family? Like, how did that happen? Like, what the like?
Yeah.
Like because they only like didn't know me because I used to be up here for holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was only new to Brisbane and that. And they're like, how do you just turn up and then all of a sudden just like get a head promoter role like out of nowhere? And it's like, well, I've worked with these guys, like we know, because like Cloudland and Family are owned by Katasina Group. So I'd worked with them when we did the festival there and stuff. And so, you know, it just sort of like fell in place. And it was just like, people were like, how did that happen? And it's like, well, because, you know, it's not always the flashy, I'm this person, you know, like it's not always I'm the, you know, the personality or the front. It's like,
exactly.
People don't know of the networking and the back stuff.
Everything that
you
goes,
meet
all
each
the
other.
time that goes into to doing all that stuff. Like you see the front, but you never see the back. Like I think there was another.
The back's way more fun.
Yeah, I think it's always way more fun. But I think you were talking about that with someone in your podcast, the guy who does all the bookings over at Sub Rosa as well.
Yeah,
like,
Taglo.
Taglo. Yeah, you were talking about how no one really sees all the stuff that goes into the behind the scenes. Yeah. And everyone just thinks it's such a cruisy job, but it's really not. Like, there's so much. You spend like hours on hours every day organizing everything to a T to make sure everything runs.
Accommodation, like
pickups and
drop-offs, artwork, flyers, working with promoters. Like, you know, there's all these things that people don't think about. And it's like, if that's what you want to do and you want to do that kind of a role. You got to learn all that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you
like,
always got to start from the bottom and work your way up.
Yeah.
That's the other reason why it's been really hard for me to break out of where I'm doing now as a job as a chef. Is because I've got 11 years under my belt. I can walk in and ask for the amount of money that I want instead of like say starting back at the bottom and being like getting paid fucking $12 an hour to do fucking everyone else's work for them. They get paid fuck all, like fucking heaps of money.
Yeah, all they do is they they're just like the head chef, and it just comes to the pass or whatever. And they just inspect it and clean the plate up, and they're like,
because I'm the sous chef, right? So
like, that'll do.
So I'm like the sous chef, so I'm the second in charge. So like my job's just as stressful, but like my head chef Caleb, fucking God bless him, like he goes through the absolute ringer, having to deal with the management and the owner from the front of house, and then having to deal with the shit that goes on every day in the kitchen, to ordering, to costing menus, to
again, it's that
cleaning,
back behind the scenes
like,
that you don't see. That you don't see.
People just think you stand in the kitchen and the food magically appears on the plate and it comes out to you in half an hour.
That's why I love like cooking shows and stuff. Like I love cooking as well. I'll have to I'll make you my 6-hour chili one time.
Ooh,
like a chili con carne, like from scratch.
I'm a big fan of chili con carne.
Yeah. So
chili cheese fries as well. Big North American.
I've done that. I've done like because when I do my chili, I make like a big lot. Like, if I'm gonna spend a day making it, I'm gonna like do a lot. Yeah, and then like you have it like, and you can do nachos with it. You can do chili cheese fries.
Chili cheese fries are the best hangover cure.
Yeah,
for me. But even better hangover cure would be getting up at 6 a.m, being first in line to get on the lift to go up the mountain, and the mountain fresh air at 7, 8 in the morning.
Yeah,
and it's like -10 at Midway Station.
You're not selling it for me, mate. You're not selling it.
But you'd be hungover and not be able to see. By the time you go through that first run, it's like you never drank that night. Yeah. It was amazing. The mountain air just does wonders for your skin, for just like your thought process in general. You're surrounded by this amazing scenery every day you wake up. How can you not want to feel good about it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
Reconnecting with nature almost.
Exactly.
Getting back to
until you go through like a tree run, hit a tree, and you're like, I've broken my leg. I'm out for 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, so easy to do.
Yeah.
So many people like, snowboarding or skiing, like fuck themselves up hard.
And it was expensive. You broke a bone in Whistler and you didn't have travel insurance to like say if you needed surgery, it's $15,000 just to fix your leg. And you can't pay it. Cool, you declare bankruptcy, you can't come back to Canada.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. Yeah. I almost stitched myself up a few times there. I remember it's like 2 weeks after my traveling insurance.
Like expired. Literally stitch yourself up? Like
no.
You have to, you're like, I can't afford it. I'm just going to stitch up.
I got stitches on my finger, but that was from working at the restaurant that I worked at. Because I was putting a plate through the pass, and as I was putting through the pass, it like nicked the bottom of the shelf and it broke right through the middle. My finger went through it and it sliced off the side of my finger.
Doesn't sound fun.
I wasn't lucky. It was just before my travel insurance expired. But like when I went up on the mountain, I ended up getting a concussion because I went over a jump and the front of my board, I leaned too far forward, so the front of my board dug into the jump and then like slapped me into the ground and just went. It was and like I was meant to go get drunk that afternoon. I couldn't. I had to go home.
Yeah,
it's really sad. I really wanted to get drunk that afternoon.
Would have been so fun. What about the poutine over there? Like, does it?
Poutine is.
Are you a fan of it?
Or my god, poutine is the best.
Because I've only made it over here myself, and I've maybe had it 1 or 2 times.
With cheese curds, though? Have you done it with cheese curds?
Well, no.
You
and
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's why I want to ask about it. So, what do they do? How do they do it differently with cheese curds?
Cheese curds are just like unpasteurized clumps of cheese, basically. Like it's like just full creamy, full dairy, everything. And they come in like little packets like that, or you can buy them in but like when you make the poutine, it's like these little packets of cheese curds. You kind of just put it on the chips and just. You hope the gravy melts them all, but like you let it sit for a little while, so it goes like
it melts and stuff.
Yeah, well, it melts, and like the cheese curd, like one cheese curd will like melt out to like this, and it's like that big. Like it's a lot of cheese.
I've seen a thing on like because I love food and I love knowing how things work.
Yeah.
I've seen like how they make cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
So I know like the curds and whey, like like it's like when it's sort of like they do the process and it's like they get rid of all the whey, the water and that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The curds and then they like push it and they stretch it and then they like put it into
Yeah, it's so good.
Love it. Yeah.
It's like I made butter chicken poutine at work.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
2 weeks ago, because like there was a pub in
Make a korma poutine. That would be so good.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so there was a restaurant in Whistler called the Brew House, and I know there'll be a few Brew House guys out there listening right now. Up the Brew House,
Give them a shout out. Shout out to Brew House.
Brew House,
go check it out.
You guys check it. Anyone's in
Brew House
Whistler, check out
massive.
Brew House butter chicken poutine. It was my friend Elliot Dunlop. He'd probably listen to this as well. Good on you, Dunlop. We were all drinking there one night for pre-drinks before going to Max Fish Mondays, and like none of us had eaten yet. So he goes into the kitchen because he worked there in the kitchen, and he brings out like these 3 bowls of butter chicken poutine, and it was honestly the best thing I've ever eaten ever. So I tried to recreate it the other day. It wasn't exactly the same because I couldn't get cheese curds. Well, we were going to order cheese curds through work, but it was $38 for a kilo.
So it's pretty expensive, yeah.
So yeah, $38 for a kilo of cheese curds that's daylight robbery. That's what that is. It's
because
ridiculous.
it's just literally they just don't do the last process.
Yeah, exactly.
Of making the cheese. So they're actually doing less work,
but it costs more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I tried to recreate it at work the other week, and my boss, because my boss is younger than me, his dad's the owner of the bar, and he just quit his Sparky apprenticeship to come and run the bar because his dad owns 3 bars, 2 in Coffs Harbour and 1 up here.
Okay, yeah.
And like his main one's in Coffs Harbour, and it's huge, amazing. But so he's 20 years old and he's just started running a venue, and he's still learning and stuff as well, and he's doing a bloody good job at it. And so I was like, when I make those nice dishes on a Tuesday when it's my last day before I got my days off, I make him some as well because we share the same Friday.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a treat for both of us before we piss off for 2 days kind of thing. Yeah. It wasn't the same, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
It was pretty tasty.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So what do we got coming up, man? Like, obviously there's not a lot going, but let's talk about maybe your mix series and stuff that you've been doing.
So my mix series is on the coming out in the 3rd episode at the moment. Because like I said, like I work 50 hours a week. Sometimes it's quite hard to be putting out an episode every month. So I kind of last time when I recorded episode 2, I also recorded episode 3. So I had it ready, locked and loaded for when I wanted to release it. So
Get it in the bank, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be coming out this month. So Unicorns, Lasers, and House Music episode 3 is coming out this month.
Such a cool name. Unicorns, Lasers, and House Music.
I got that from Mojo's too, actually.
And with the artwork and stuff.
Yeah, because like I really like the whole retro look of everything too. Like if people have seen like the artwork of episode 1 and 2, like I like all those soft colors and stuff like that. The next one's going to be a bit jungly.
Yeah.
So like a lot of like vocals of like African children singing and stuff like that, and vibes, like also a lot of your classic tech house vocals as well, like the soulful lady singing in the background and stuff like that, which is really cool too. And then, of course, I'm the cheese master, so there's a couple of cheesy little tracks in there for
cheese master,
cheese
curd master,
yeah, cheese curd master. It's like for all that. So like
so you're the curd master.
It's the curd master.
Not the curd master.
So you may as well start calling me Ronald Pigman.
It's like the OG version of the cheese master because the curds come before the cheese.
Just missed that last step, right?
That's it.
So yeah, and so like I kind of like into my mixes as well. I like to take like some of those older songs or like anything that's like lyrical in your top 40 and like to find those tech house spin-offs that people make.
Yeah.
Of like say take James Hype for example. His remix he did of Sweet Dreams. Is a big one for me.
Yeah,
I like
you played
playing
that the other week.
Yeah, I love playing it.
I haven't heard this yet. I was like, that's sick.
Yeah, it's really dope. I quite enjoy doing that. And then another track I like playing is that Call on Me remix by Evokings.
Yeah.
Which is really dope. I like so a lot of like those old school songs is like a new age tech feel to it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it's something that people of all ages can get down to as well. Like I know a friend of mine, she played it for her mum, and her mum's in her 50s, and her mum said, I could get down to this. I could get down and go watch someone like this play.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the feel I was going for it as well. Like I like keep it underground, but at the same time, you don't want to lose people just because it sounds the same the whole time. You want to change it up. You want to have something that people
something
can sing
they know
along
and
to.
can get lock onto, and it's like keep it fun.
Exactly,
Like
it's fun.
keep it fun. Yeah,
it's like everyone can like.
It's not like a serious like, oh, I'm this amazing underground artist that just plays this. I only play underground shit that no one plays or whatever, and it's like, nah, just keep it fun, man. Like you can mix it up and play all of that.
Yeah, that's why I played Cheese as well, because it comes down to like when I was an opener, an unpaid opener in Whistler for about a year, so I had to learn properly to read the room, play to the crowd, and you don't go heavy before people who are going to be going heavier after you, right?
Yeah.
So like I used to play stuff like Fisher's crowd control and stuff like that. And then also like you heard what's his name? Sunburn, his remix of 21 Questions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I have a really cool deep house remix of Zombie by the Cranberries, which I really love busting out on an open set, which is really cool. And then like I got this another deep house remix I play of Barbra Streisand, Dark Sauce, Barbra Streisand.
Dark Sauce, yeah.
And then Dom Dollar is also a really good one. I was like, cause I'm massively into Dom Dollar. Like I played with him a couple times, before him, and party with him too. Actually, one of his headline shows in Whistler, we went back to my mate Darley's place, and I was really, really drunk and out of it. So it took me a little while. Got to about 4 o'clock in the morning. We'd been back at the house for like 2 hours.
And then you realized.
And I turned around to Darley. I was like, "Who's that again?" He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "Nah." I was like, I was like
sideways.
I was like sideways, and he's like, "Dude, it's Dom Dollar." And I was like, "No,
no."
And he's
Dom
like,
Dollar doesn't look like that.
And then
stop lying to me.
It was amazing because I didn't even know it was him because he was such a regular dude. As well, and I was like, no. He's like, dude, you were talking to him like 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, you really need to. He's like, you need to lay off the mushrooms.
I
was like, probably should.
It's like, yes.
But so we actually, I went over and said hi to him again, and we were talking, and so we sat down and we started talking about like different festivals he's played around the world and like different artists he's met, and like different like. How like the way he's partied with those artists as well, and things like that, like for example, like Walker and Royce, like awesome dudes, Sam and Gavin, awesome guys. I actually met Gavin as well. He played at Mojo's right after, so he'd been off. Him and Sam played Holy Ship, and then 3 days later he was playing at Mojo's. My manager Scotty hand delivering him weed every day because he was like 2 days early for the show, but he was so coming down from Holy Shit.
Yeah.
Is hand feeding him weed every couple of hours. He's like, I run out. So we'd run it over to him. And this is like, we weren't even getting paid for this.
Why don't we just leave you a heap of it? Like, why don't we don't have to keep trying.
But his argument was, but I don't want to get all this weed and then I have to fly back to the States and can't take it with me, right? So he's like, just bring it to me in increments. Like
we'll just pick up whatever's left at the end.
Yeah, but he's like, he wasn't rude about it. He's like, I really need help getting through this. Like I'm having a really rough time. Cause like all these artists as well, they're in their like late 30s now kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we speak to Dom about that. He also, I was like, you want to listen to some music? It's just like a really shameful moment for me. Because I was so out of it as well. And I was like, what do you like to listen to? And he goes, anything, man. So what did I do? Because he was on his Be Randy tour, right?
Yeah,
so, So I put on Be Randy.
You're like, man, I'm loving this tune, eh? He's like,
I put it on, and he looks at me. He's like, come on, man. Like, I play this every night. I don't want to listen to it when I'm at fucking kick-ons at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, all right. I was like, what do you want to listen to? He's like, Michael Jackson. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, early Michael Jackson, though. He goes, I want to listen to like ABC and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? He goes, he's like, dude, I could, like, in my spare time, that's the shit I get down to. It's like Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, a lot of my inspiration comes from listening to like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And then he was also telling me about how he made Take It. So he made Take It. He was on tour and he was in his hotel room and he was using his phone as earbuds and he had the sheet over his head. That's how he made the vocals for Take It.
Yeah, you can totally do it.
Yeah, I was
hard.
gobsmacked by it. I was like, how do you do that? And he's like, oh, I've had to do it for a while, so
as long as you don't have to make it sound like a clean vocal audio, you know what I mean? If you're gonna fuck with it later and do stuff,
yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, pitch it, like, you know, add some effects. Like if you just like actually singing a song though, then you need a proper setup.
Exactly.
Yeah. But when you're just doing like those, you know, like housey little stabs and like little vocal bits and stuff like that, and you're gonna really fuck with it with the processing, you can basically record it on you don't even need earbuds or anything. You can just get your phone and record it in the audio notes, and they're pretty good, man.
Yeah, well, Mason Maffick actually put that to me as well. Good old Mason.
Yeah.
He was talking to him about like because I don't have a microphone at home to record my intro, so if anyone's listened to my mix series so far, I do a little bit of an intro at the start.
Just do it on the phone, yeah.
Yeah, see, like Mason's like, go into your bedroom, shut the door, and just use your phone. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I just go to Greg's house and use his microphone at his place, and then he mixes it down for me.
Yeah. Like one thing I used to do before I had mics and stuff, if I wanted to do vocal stuff, I'd literally just get my phone and I'd put it so the mic bit was sitting out, and I'd put it on my bed.
Yeah.
I put a pillow, I put it on top of a pillow, I put another pillow on top, and then another pillow on top, and then I'd like get down in there because then it's like a sound absorption thing, so that you're not getting like reverb and that, and you could just it just gives you like a bit of a cleaner sound.
Yeah, right.
That's one of my pillow tricks.
That's one of your pillow tricks.
That's one of my pillow tricks.
The other one's you biting it, right?
Oh, the other ones I can't tell you about. No, I can't tell you about my other pillow tricks. Yeah, awesome. So the mix series you said, and so that's just you doing the mix stuff, you just put out the mix?
Yeah, so I do that, and I was thinking like, because like Greg had his Roger G had his Blackout series, and he had a guest on that every time he did that, and like it's something me and him spoke about as well, because we're really good. Greg's probably one of the best friends I've had since being back in Brisbane as well, and like another thing to touch back on when I watched Badger's podcast with you, the way he had spoke about Greg. Greg is like the time and effort he puts into what he does every day, every night. And I get a phone call from Greg at least once a day, and every time when we hang up the phone, it's like, all right, I'm going for a mix. At least once a day.
Pretty much any time I've spoken to him on the phone when he calls, he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, what have you been up to today? He's like, oh, I just had a mix. Yeah. Or he's like, when he's like leaving, he's like, I'm gonna go have a mix. Like
exactly. Like, and he does it, and he does it every time. And like, I'd tip my hat off to him. And it pains me to watch that he puts in so much time and effort, and like he's getting places, but like no one actually notices the hard work sometimes that he puts in, and like. The gigs are scarce at the moment as well, but like he was putting this much effort this time last year and still not like getting much out of it either. Yeah, but like
it's always about building, you know. People do exactly onto it eventually.
Yeah,
and it's just about building, and then people go, oh yeah, he really does.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you tell someone, and someone else tells someone, all of a sudden they meet him and go, oh yeah, Greg, oh yeah, I know you work really hard.
Just like right now, watching Badger's podcast and talking about it again, but like like. Greg's also been a big influence to me. He put me straight on his Blackout series as well, which like he didn't mind. Like we barely knew each other at that point, and then from then we kind of just been hanging out. And he's actually a really good friend of mine, and comes around and he probably our house is his house basically. He makes himself at home. And
yeah, cool.
Bowl of cereal,
I'll have to show you.
All that kind of stuff.
A pint of Diet Coke, maybe.
Yeah. Actually, we got these big Stein glasses at home, and he brought around a bottle of Coke the other day, and he put half of it in the fucking cup.
The old pint of Diet Pepsi. We went out to the pub one time, and like, everyone's getting beers, and he's like, "Oh, can I just get a
Diet Pepsi?
Can I just get a Diet Coke?" And the guy, this is like it when. The pubs have just reopened, so everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the pub for a beer." Like,
I need to get on the piss.
We've gone to the Pig and Whistle, and he's ordered and the bartender was like this old dude, Chris, and he's like just looked at him and he's gone, "Okay," and then and this guy was a fucking laugh. This bartender, and so we all go around, and so it's like, Oh, so you want like a stone and wood, you want this,
Yeah.
and you wanted a pint of milk, right? Like, it's like, just like
you wanted a
stirring
pint
it.
of milk. That's the
It's like,
best.
you just want a milk, do you? Like, yeah, just
he probably
like
would have turned
stirring
around
it
and said, "Yeah, make sure it's chalky."
Yeah, no, he ended up going with the pint of Diet Pepsi. So I'll have to show you. There's a group of the Friday Knockoffs guys that I've been making. I found a like playing card generator.
Yeah, right.
Online, so you can make like Pokemon cards or whatever, and you can put photo on and do it all. So I've been making this series of just like banter like ones with all the guys, and
that's the best.
So I've got a few versions of Greg. There's like Wet Greg. There's like
Lovable Greg.
all different type versions of Greg.
Fuck.
But yeah, so where can we find you online, man?
So I've got all my socials. So like, I've recently, well, not, it was this year, but like, I didn't realize how social media presence here in Brisbane is a massive thing. So when I came back here, I had no mixes to my name. I didn't even have a Facebook page as a DJ page. And then like, I just used to post stuff on my actual Instagram. So like, I turned my personal Instagram page into my personal page, like my professional page.
Yeah.
And then my SoundCloud is actually like, it's under Gomez, but like it's funny, it's still the same SoundCloud account that that got generated to me when I made it in 2008.
Oh yeah, ages ago.
So the name, the actual URL, and it's called Stealing Appealing.
Stealing Appealing.
And I was originally going to make that my DJ name in Whistler.
So how did you get Gomez then?
So marijuana is legal in Canada. And so we used to smoke a lot of weed. And so me and my friends, Sean, Jackson, Elliot, and Dali, we were all stoned one night. And because they used to call me James, which is James in Mexican.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then one of them turns around and goes, "Oh, Gomez." And we're like, "What?" And then we laughed at it for about 15 minutes. And then there was different levels of Gomez, right? So it went Officer Gomez busting punks for petty theft. and then it went to Special Agent Gomez dumping bodies in the back dumpster. and then there was Agent Gomez, and then it just stuck as a nickname. And then so the first bush stuff I played, I needed a name. And originally we went on this houseboat trip, which is a whole nother story which I've already told you about.
You've told me about that. We probably can't talk about that on this podcast.
No, that's probably too extensive into what we did on that houseboat trip. But if anyone gets on a houseboat on Shuswamp Lake, I highly recommend doing everything and anything. So I said to the guys, like, I need a DJ name. They're like, just go with Gomez. I was like, why? It was really weird to me at the time. They're like, dude, it's a sick name. We all call you that.
Yeah.
So I went with Gomez, and then funnily enough, it stuck. And then a couple weeks later, I was like thinking about doing a logo. Back to Andrew Laduda from Case of the Mondays.
Yeah.
I used to talk to him about a lot of stuff, and he's a good friend of mine. And he goes, I was like, is there any chance you could whip up a logo for me? He's like, I've already actually done it. And I was like, what? And he goes,
got it.
He goes, yeah, I've done it. And I was like, he's like, it's just something I was messing around with. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, check this out. And it's basically the little shucker that's on my shirt, on my sock.
Yeah.
That's that. So it was like the shucker, and then it had Gomez over the top of the hand. And then I rebranded it when I got back here to Brisbane, because I was like, it probably should be a bit more professional kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got Zoe Zendina.
Yeah.
She was actually another one of my first friends working at the Met. And she does all the visual arts and stuff, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So she also does all my cover art for my mix series as well. Yeah. She does all that. According to her, she has a lot of fun making them too. She's like, I just give her free reign. I just tell her the color scheme, and she just goes with it.
Yeah, that's always the best when I love doing that with artists and stuff like that. Anything with like, because I use like Butters, like Liam Butters, and he does all the melt stuff, and like he's been doing it for ages and stuff, and I always just go, this is the vibe, but you just do what you do.
Exactly.
He knows what he's doing. So
yeah.
But so it's all Gomez then online and stuff.
Yeah,
That's how we
Gomez.
find
So
you?
like my Instagram handle is _Gomez7, and then my Facebook is Gomez Music 7, and then my you can find me as Gomez or Stealing Appealing on SoundCloud. I don't really go by Stealing Appealing though. It's just that's when it shows up.
That's what it is. Yeah, the URL handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
That's all right.
Great to
Thanks for
have a
having
chat.
me. I had a great
Absolutely.
time.
Cheers. Yeah, it's always good, reminiscing on
Yeah.
old times and talking about old stories and stuff. So
Yeah, there's a lot more stories there, but I think we'd be sitting here for another couple of hours, to be completely honest with you. And half of it would not be legal to be put on this.
let's just just invite me over for a dinner party sometime
that
and
sounds
cook me a
good.
feed, and then we can have we can talk about all
I'll
those
make
stories.
some chorizo burgers. How
Yeah.
about
Oh,
that?
yeah. That sounds awesome. All right, guys. Make sure you guys all check out, Gomez and all his stuff, his mix series and everything. And just get out there and support good music.
Yeah,
if you can.
I'll put all my handles underneath when you
yeah.
post
We
this and
always
all that
put all
stuff.
the stuff in the
Yeah,
comments.
cool.
And that,
Yeah, sounds good.
the
And
notes, but,
look out for the episode 3 coming out this month. Hopefully by the end of the month should be out.
Sweet.
And then you can also catch me playing the second heat of the Prohibition DJ comp tomorrow night, Sunday.
This will be out you will have done it already.
Oh
They
yeah,
won't
well
see
it's already
It's already done. So
It's already
hopefully you do well. So
yeah. Hopefully I make it to you can catch me at the quarterfinals. That'd be nice,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Sweet.
Cheers.
Man. Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Peace out, rabbit.